In garment sewing, you may come across the term understitch. This video will tell you everything you need to know about the understitch so you can tackle it with confidence. While the understitch is a normal length straight stitch, it more describes when and where it is done. It's a stitch typically done on necklines and armholes of facing and lining pieces. The purpose of the understitch is to make it easier to turn the facing or lining to the inside of the garment, and it helps keep it in place. Here's an example of a piece with no understitch and one with understitch. In my example, I'll be doing a neckline with a contrasting fabric facing piece, but these steps will still apply if using a lining. First, I'm sewing the facing to the garment. In my case, I'm sewing a facing to the neckline, putting the pieces right side to right side. Sew this at your machine with a standard seam allowance using a regular straight stitch. If your seam is slightly curved, like mine, you'll always want to trim the seam allowance and cut notches in it. This will make sure that once the facing is on the inside of the garment, the curve of the neckline will lie smoothly. Now pull the facing away from the main garment section so that you're looking at the right side of both fabrics. Instead of pressing your seam allowances open, keep them closed, and it should lie underneath the facing piece. I would press this. Take this to your sewing machine and sew a regular length straight stitch right next to the seam line, but on the facing side only. This is the understitch. Don't forget to do a back stitch at the beginning and end of the stitch. You'll notice that the seam line area feels a little stiffer and more stable with the understitch because it's keeping the seam allowance with the facing piece. Take your facing and turn it to the wrong side of the garment, which will help make the neckline look finished and help stabilize the area. Press this. Sometimes directions will want you to do an edge stitch just to hold everything in place, meaning to stitch close to the folded edge, but I would follow whatever your next steps are for your particular project. And that's all the understitch is. You can see it's very simple, but it's a very important step in garment construction for making sure your pieces not only look nice, but keeps the facing or lining on the inside of the garment. Our book, Professor Pincushion's Beginner Guide to Sewing, Garment Making for Nervous Newbies, is now available to order. Go to professorpincushion.com/books or click on the link in the description to see a list of vendors where you can purchase it.